I may not have an audience yet, but in time, they'll come. I hope you'll come. Anyways, before we begin, just want to talk over with some stuff I'm wanting to do. Namely, that once I finish up with one of these recitals, I like to watch a film adaptation. And for the ones I currently have planned, I have 3 movies. So, after I did my live stream of Richard III, I watched Richard III starring Sir Ian McKellen, and I highly recommend this one. This one's a lot of fun. And of course, after I do this one, I'll be rewatching this, and small hint as to what I'm doing next. Anyhow. And also, just for funsies, it's Henry V, the Kenneth Branagh movie, but it has the Spark Cliff Notes to it. Can't say I've seen one of those. Okay, now, the main event. Romeo and Juliet, the most frequently taught text in American high schools. I ought to know, I was taught it. And now I'm going to read it to you because I was, for many years, the best guy to read Shakespeare in Lacassine High. Now then. Just give me a second. Okay, here we go. Act 1. Well, prologue, but you know what I mean. 2 households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona, where we lay our scene. From ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these 2 foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventured piteous overthrows doth with their death bury their parents' strife. The fearful passage of their death-marked love, and the continuance of their parents' rage, which, but their children's end, naught could remove, is now the 2 hours' traffic of our stage, the which, if you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our toil, shall strive to mend. Okay. Act 1, Scene 1. Enter Samson and Gregory, with swords and bucklers of the house of Capulet. Gregory, on my word, will not carry coals. No, for then we would be colers. I mean, and we being choler, will draw. Aye, while you live, draw your neck out of collar. I strike quickly, being moved. But thou art not quickly moved to strike. A dog of the house of Montague muse me. To move is to stir, and to be valiant is to stand. Therefore, if thou art moved, thou runnest away. A dog of that house shall move me to stand. I will take the wall of any man or maid of Montague's. That shows thee a weak slave, for the weakest goes to the wall. 'Tis true, and therefore women, being the weaker vessels, are ever thrust to the wall. Therefore, I will push Montague's men from the wall and thrust his maids to the wall. Wow. The quarrel is between our masters and us, their men. 'Tis all one. I will show myself a tyrant. When I have fought with the men, I will be civil with the maids. I will cut off their heads. Man! God, how dark this thing could get. Then again, the heads of the maids, aye, the heads of the maids, or their maiden heads. Take it in what sense thou wilt. They must take it in sense that feel it. Me they shall feel while I'm able to stand, and 'tis known I am a pretty piece of flesh. 'Tis well thou art not fish. Thou hadst been poor John. Draw thy tool. Here comes of the house of Montagues. Enter Abram with another serving man. My naked weapon is out. Quarrel. I will back thee. How? Turn thy back and run? Fear me not. No, marry, I fear thee. Let us take the law of our sides. Let them begin. I will frown as I pass by, and let them take it as they list. Nay, as they dare, I will my thumb at them, which is disgrace to them if they hear it. Do you bite your thumb at us, sir? I do bite my thumb, sir. Do you bite your thumb at us, sir? Is the law of our side if I say aye? No, no, sir, I do not bite my thumb at you, sir, but I bite my thumb, sir. Do you quarrel, sir? Quarrel, sir? No, sir. But if you do, sir, I am for you. I serve as good a man as you. No better. Well, sir, enter Benvolio. I am the great Benvolio. A crutch! A crutch! Why call you for a sword? Enter old Montague and his wife. My sword, I say. Old Montague is come and flourishes his blade in spite of me. Thou villain Capulet, hold me not, let me go. Oh, sorry about that. Thou shalt not stir 1 foot to seek a foe. Enter Prince Escalus of this train. Rebellious subjects, enemies to peace, profaners of this neighbor-stained steel. Will they not hear? What ho! You men, you beasts that quench the fire, fountains issuing from your veins on pain of torture from those hands, throw your mistempered weapons to the ground and hear the sentence of your moved prince. 3 civil brawls, bred of an airy word by thee, old Capulet, and Montague, have thrice disturbed the quiet of our streets, and made Verona's ancient citizens cast by their grave beseeming ornaments, to wield old partisan in hands as old, cankered with peace, to part your cankered hate. If ever you disturb our streets again, your lives shall pay the forfeit of the... Madam, an hour before the worshipped sun peered forth the golden window of the east, a troubled mind drove me to walk abroad, where underneath the grove of sycamore, that westward rooteth from the city side, so early walking did I see your son, towards him I made. But he was ware of me, and stole into the covert of the wood. I, measuring his affections by my own, which then most sought where the most might not be found, being one too many of my weary self, pursued my humor, not pursuing his, and gladly shunned who gladly fled with me. Many a morning hath he there been seen, with tears augmenting the fresh morning's dew, adding to clouds more clouds of his deep sighs. But all so soon as the all-cheering sun should in the farthest east begin to draw the shady curtains from Aurora's bed, away from light steals home my heavy son, and private in his chamber pens himself, shuts up his windows, locks fair daylight out, and makes himself an artificial night. Black and portentous must this humor prove, unless good counsel may the cause remove. My noble uncle, do you know the cause? I neither know it nor can learn of him. Have you importuned him by any means? Both by myself and many other friends, but he, his own affection's counselor, is to himself. I will not say how true, but to himself, so secret and so close, so far from sounding in discovery, as this bud bit with an envious worm, ere he can spread his sweet leaves to the air, or dedicate his beauty to the same. Could we but learn from whence his sorrows grow, we would as willingly give cure as... No. Enter Romeo. See where he comes, so please you, step those hours. Not having that which, having, makes them short. In love? Out. Of love? Out of her favor where I am in love. Alas, that love so gentle in his view should be so tyrannous and rough in proof. Alas, that love, whose view is muffled still, should without eyes see pathways to his will. Where shall we dine? Oh me, what fray was here? Yet, tell me not, for I've heard it all. Here's too much to do with hate, but more with love. Why then, O brawling love, O loving hate, O anything of nothing first create, O heavy lightness, serious vanity, misshapen chaos of well-seeming forms, feather of lead, bright smoke, cold fire, sick health, still waking sleep, that is not what it is. This love I feel, that feel no love in this. Dost thou not laugh? No cause, I rather weep. Good heart, at what? At thy good heart's oppression. Why, such is love's transgression. Griefs of mine own lie heavy in my breast, which thou wilt propagate to have it pressed. With more of thine this love that with more of thine this love that thou hast shown doth add more grief to too much of mine own. Love is a smoke made with the fume of sighs, being purged, a fire sparkling in lovers' eyes, being vexed, a scene nourished with loving tears. What is it else? A madness no what is it else? A madness most discreet, a choking gall, and a preserving sweet. Farewell, my cause. Soft! I will go along, and if you leave me so, you do me wrong. Tut! I have lost myself. I am not here. This is not Romeo. He's some other where. Tell me in sadness, who is that you love? What, shall I groan and tell thee? Groan? Why no. But sadly, tell me who. A sick man in sadness makes his will, a word ill urged to no one that is so ill. In sadness, cousin, I do love a woman. I aimed so near when I supposed you loved. A right good marksman, and she's fair, I love. A right fair mark, fair cause, is soonest hit. Well, in that hit, you miss. She'll not be hit with Cupid's arrow. She have Dian's wit, and in strong proof of chastity, well armed. From love's weak childish blow, she lives uncharmed. She will not stay the siege of loving turns, nor bide the encounter of assailing eyes, nor ope her lap to saint-seducing cold. Oh, she is rich in beauty, only poor, and when she dies, with beauty dies her store. Then she hath sworn that she will still live chaste? She hath, and in that sparring makes huge waste. For beauty, starved with her severity, cuts beauty off from all posterity. She is too wise, too fair, wisely too fair, to merit bliss by making me despair. She hath forsworn to love, and in that vow do I live dead, that live to tell it now. Be ruled by me. Forget to think of her. Oh, teach me how I should forget to think. By giving liberty unto thine eyes, examine other beauties. 'Tis the way to call hers exquisite in question more. These happy masks that kiss fair ladies' brows, being black, puts us in mind that they hide the fair. He that is struck blind cannot forget the precious treasure of his eyesight lost. Show me a mistress that is passing fair. What doth her beauty serve but as a note, where I may read to who passed that passing fair? Farewell, thou canst not teach me to forget. I'll pay that doctrine, or else die in debt. Scene 2. Enter Capulet, County Paris, and a serving man. Mr. Serving Man. Meh. But Montague is bound But Montague is bound as well as I, in penalty alike, and 'tis not hard, I think, for men so old as we to keep the peace. Of honorable reckoning are you both, and pity 'tis you lived at odds so long. But now, my lord, what say you to my suit? But saying o'er what I said before, my child is yet a stranger in the world. She hath not seen the change of 14 years. Let 2 more summers wither in their pride, ere we may think her ripe to be a bride. Younger than she our happy mothers made. And too soon marred are those so early made. Earth hath swallowed all my hopes, but she's the hopeful lady of my earth. But woo her, gentle Paris, get her heart. My will to her consent is but a part, and she agreed within her scope of choice, lies my consent in fair according voice. This night I hold an old accustomed feast, whereto I have invited many a guest, such as I love, and you among the store. One more, most welcome, makes my number more. At my poor house look to behold this night, earth-treading stars that make dark heaven light. Such comfort as do lusty young men feel, when well-apparelled April on the heel of limping winter treads, even such delight. Among fresh fennel buds shall you this night inherit at my house. Here all see, and like her most, where merit most she, which on more view of many, mine being one, many stand in number, though in reckoning none. Come, go with me. Go, sirrah, trudge about through fair Verona, find those persons out whose names are written there, and to them say, my house, and welcome. Their pleasure play. Pleasure stay, whatever. Captain Parenthesman. Find them out whose names are written here. It is written that the shoemaker should meddle with his yard, and the tailor with his last. the fisher with his pencil and the painter with his nets. But I am sent to find those persons whose names are here writ, and can never find what names the writing person hath here writ. I must have learned in good time. Enter Benvolio and Romeo. Tut, man. One fire burns out another's burning. One pain is lessened by another's anguish. Turn giddy, and be helped by backward turning. One desperate grief cures with another's anguish. Take thou some new infection to thine eye, and the rank poison of the old will die. Your plantain leaf is excellent for that. For what, I pray thee? For your broken shin. Why, Romeo, art thou mad? Not mad, but bound more than a madman is. Shut up in prison, kept without my food, whipped and tormented, and good evening, my good fellow. Go give you good in, I'll pray, sir. Can you read? Aye, mine own fortune and my misery. Perhaps ye have learned it without book, but I pray. Can you read anything you see? Aye, if I know the letters in the language. You say honestly, rest you merry. Stay, fellow, I can read. Let's see. Signor Martino and his wife and daughters, County Anselme and his beauteous sisters, the lady widow of Vitruvio, Signor Planticio and his lovely nieces, Mercutio and his brother Valentine, mine uncle Capulet, his wife and daughters, my fair niece, Rosaline and Livia, Signor Valentino and his cousin Tybalt, Lucio and the lively Helena. Ignore that. A fair assembly. Whither should they come? Up. Whither? To supper? To our house. Whose house? My master's. Indeed, I should have asked thee that before. Now I'll tell you without asking. My master's a great rich Capulet, and if you be not of the house of Montagues, I pray come and crush a cup of wine. West you merry. At this same ancient feet of Capulets sups the fair Rosaline, whom thou so loves, with all the admired beauties of Verona. Go thither, and with unattained eye, compare her face with some that I shall know, and I will make thee think thy swan a crow. When the devout religion of mine eye maintains such falsehood, thine tears turn to fire, and these who often drown could never die. Transparent heretics, be burnt for liars. One fairer than my love? The all-seeing sun ne'er saw her match since the world first. The all-seeing sun ne'er saw her match since the world first begun. Good enough. Tut, you saw her fair, none else being by, herself poised with herself in either eye. But in that crystal scales let there be weighed your lady's love against some other maid that I will show you shining at this feast. And she shall, well, that now seems best. I'll go along, no such sight to be shown, but rejoice in splendor of mine own. They exit. Scene 3. Enter Lady Capulet and nurse. Nurse, where's my daughter? Call it forth to me. Now by my maidenhead, a 12-year-old, I bade her come. What lamb? What ladybird? God forbid. Where's this girl? What Juliet? Enter Juliet. How now? Who calls? Your mother! Madam, I am here. What is your will? This is the matter. Nurse, give leave a while. We must talk in secret. Nurse, come back again. I have remembered me. Thou seest our counsel. Thou knowest my daughter's of a pretty age. 5. I can tell her age in 2 an hour. She's not 14. I lay 14 in my teeth, and yet to my teen it be spoken. I have but 4. She's not 14. How long is it now to Lammerstad? A fortnight and odd days. Even or odd of all the days in the year, come Lammer's Eve. At night she be 14. Susan and she, God rest all Christian souls, were of an age. Well, Susan is with God. She was too good for me. But, as I said, on Lammer's Eve at night she shall be 14. That shall she. Marry, I remember it well. 'Tis since the earthquake now 11 years, and she was weaned. I shall never forget it. Of all the days of the year, upon that day, for I had then laid wormwood to my dug, sitting in the sun under the dove-house wall. My lord and you were then at Mantua. Nay, do I bear a brain? But, as I said, when it did taste the wormwood on the nipple of my dug, and felt it bitter, pretty fool, to see it tetchy and fall out at the dug. Shake, quoth the dove-house, 'twas no need, I trow, to bid me trudge. And since that time it is 11 years. For then she could stand high lone. Nay, by the rood, she could have run and waddled all about. For even the day before she broke her brow, and then my husband, God be with his soul, he was a merry man, took up the child. Yea, quoth he, dost thou fall upon thy face? Thou wilt fall backward, and when thou hast more wit, wilt thou not jule? And by my holidan, the pretty wretch was left quiet and said, Aye, to see now how a jest shall come about. I warrant, and I should live 1,000 years, I should never forget it. Wilt thou not jule? Quoth he, and pretty fool, and stinted instead, Aye. Enough of this, I pray thee, hold thy peace. Yes, madam, yet I cannot choose but laugh to think it should leave crying and say, Aye. And yet, I warrant, it had upon its brow a bump as big as young cockerel stone, a perilous knock, and it cried bitterly. Yea, quoth my husband, fallest upon thy face, thou wilt fall backward when thou comest to age. Wilt thou not jule? It stinted and said, Aye. And stint thou too, I pray thee, nurse, say I. Peace, I've done. God mark thee to his grace. Thou wast the prettiest babe that I e'er nursed, and I might live to see thee married once. I have my wish. Marry? That marry is the very thing I come to talk of. Tell me, daughter Juliet, how stands your disposition to be married? It is an honor that I dream not of. An honor? Were I not thine only thus, I would say thou hast sucked wisdom from thy teat. Well, think of marriage now. Younger than you here in Verona, ladies of esteem are made already mothers. By my count, I was your mother much upon these years that you are now a maid. Thus, then, in brief, the valiant Paris seeks you for his love. A man, young lady. Lady, such a man as all the world. Why, he's a man of wax. Verona summer hath not such a flower. Nay, he's a flower, in faith, a very flower. What say you? Can you love the gentleman? This night you shall behold him at our feast. Read on the volume of young Paris's face, and find delight writ there with beauty's pen. Examine every merry lineament, and see how one another leads content, and what obscured in this fair volume lies find written in the margin of his eyes, this precious book of love, this unbound lover. To beautify him only lacks a cover. The fish lives in the sea, and 'tis much pride, for fair without the fair within to hide. That book in many's eyes doth share the glory that in gold clasps looks in the golden story. So shall you share all that he doth possess by having him, making yourself no less? No less, nay, bigger. Women grow by men. Speak briefly. Can you like of Paris's love? I'll look to like, if I keep looking, liking move. But no more deep I will endart mine eye, than your consent gives strength to make it fly. Enter the serving man. Madam, the guests are come, supper served up, you called, my young lady asked for, the nurse cursed in the pantry, and everything in extremity. I must hence to wait. I beseech you, follow straight. We follow thee. Serving man exits. Juliet, the county stays. Go, go, seek happy nights to happy days. These days are like being free. Okay. All right, scene 4. Enter Romeo, Mercutio, Benvolio with 5 or 6 other maskers, torchbearers, and a boy with a drum. Just random guy, just trying to figure out how for teacher. What? Shall this speech be spoke for our excuse, or shall we go on without an apology? The date is out of such proximity. We'll have no Cupid hoodwinked with a scarf, bearing a Tata's painted bow of lath, scarring the ladies like a crow-keeper, nor no without book prologue faintly spoke after the prompter for our entrance. But let them measure us by what they will. We'll measure them, and a measure, and be gone. Give me a torch. I'm not for this handling. Being but heavy, I will bear the light. Nay, gentle Romeo, we must have you dance. Not I, believe me. You have dancing shoes with nimble soles. I have a soul of lead, so it stakes me to the ground. I cannot move. You are a lover. Borrow Cupid's wings and soar with them upon a common bound. I am too sore and pierced with his shaft, too sore with his light feathers, and so bound I cannot bound a pitch above dull woe. Under love's heavy burden do I sink. And to sink in it should you burden love. Too great depression for a tender thing. Is love a tender thing? It is too rough, too rude, too boisterous, and it pricks like thorn. If love be rough with you, be rough with love. Prick love for pricking, and you beat love down. Give me a case to put my visage in. A visor for a visor. What care I? What curious eye doth coat deformities? Here are the beetle brows shall blush for me. Come, knock and enter. And no sooner in but every man be taken to his legs. A torch for me. Let wantons of light heart. Let wantons light of heart tickle the senseless rushes, for I am proverb of the grandsir phase. I'll be a candle holder, and look on. Game was ne'er so fair, and I am done. Tut! Done's the mouse, the constable's own word. If thou art done, we'll draw thee from the mire. We'll save your reverence, love, wherein thou stickest up to the ears. Come, we burn daylight, ho! Nay, that's not sir. I mean, sir. In delay we waste our lights, in vain, lights by day. Take our good meaning, for our judgment sits 5 times in the air once in our 5 wits. And we mean well in going to this masque, but 'tis no wit to go. Why, may one ask? I dreamt a dream tonight, and so did I. But what was yours? That dreamers often lie. In bed asleep while they do dreams thing true. Oh, then I seen Queen Mab hath been with you. Ooh. She is the fairy's midwife, and she comes in shape no bigger than an agate stone on the foreigner of an alderman, drawn with a team of little autonomy over men's noses, and as they lie asleep. Her wagon's spokes made of long spinner's legs, the cover of the wings of grasshoppers, her traces of the smallest spider web, her colors of the moonshine's watery beams, her whip of cricket's bone, the lash of film, her wagoner a small grey-coloured gnat, not half so big as a round little worm picked from the lazy finger of a maid. A chariot is an empty hazelnut, made by the joiner squirrel or old grub. Time out, O mind, the fairy's coast, and in this state she gallops night by night through lovers' brains, and then they dream of love. On courtiers' knees that dream on curtsies the straight, or lawyers' fingers who straight dream on fees, or ladies' lips who straight on kisses dream, which oft the angry mad with blisters plagues because their breaths with sweetmeats tainted are. Sometimes she gallops o'er a courtier's nose, and then dreams of he's smelling out a suit, and sometimes comes she with a tithe pig's tail, tickling a parson's nose as he lies asleep. Then he dreams of another benefice. Sometimes she driveth o'er a soldier's necks, and then dreams he of cutting foreign throats, of breeches and bescudos, Spanish blades, of helps 5 fathom deep, and then anon drums in his ear, at which he starts and wakes, and thus being frightened, swears a pair or 2, and sleeps again. This is that very Mab that plats the manes of horses in the night. and bakes the elf locks in foul, sluttish hairs, which once untangled much misfortuned bows. This is the hag, when knaves lie on their backs, that presses them and learns them first to bear, making them women of good carriage. This is she. Peace, peace, Mercutio, peace. Thou talk'st of nothing. True, I talk of dreams, which are children of an idle brain, begot of nothing but vain fantasy, which is as thin as substance of the air, and more inconstant than the wind who woos even now the frozen bosom of the north, and being angered puffs away from thence, turning his side to the dew-dropping south. This wind you talk of blows us from ourselves. Supper is done, and we shall come too late. I fear too early, for my mind misgives some consequence, yet hanging in the stars shall bitterly begin this fearful date of this night's revels, and expire the term of a despised life closed in my breast by some vile forfeit of untimely death. But he that hath the steerage of my course, direct my sail. On, lusty gentlemen, strike, drum! Scene 5. Servingmen come forth with napkins. Where's Potpan that he helps not to take away? He here shift a trencher, he scrape a trencher, when good manners shall lie all in one or two men's hands, and they unwashed too. 'Tis a foul thing. Away with the joint stools, remove the court cupboard, lock to the plate. Good thou, save me a piece of marchpane, and, as thou loves me, let the porter let in Susan, Grindstone, and Nell, Anthony, and Potpan. Aye, boy, ready. You are looked for and called for, asked for and sought for in the great chamber. We cannot be here and there too. Cheerly, boys, be brisk a while, and the longer liveth a goal. They move aside. Enter Capulet and his household. All the guests and gentlewomen to Romeo, Mercutio, Benvolio, and the other maskers. Welcome, gentlemen. Ladies that have their toes unplagued with corns will walk about with you. Ah, my mistresses, which of you all will now deny to dance? She that makes dainty, she, I'll swear, hath corns. Am I come near you now? Welcome, gentlemen. I have seen the day that I have worn a visor and could tell a whispering tale in a fair lady's ear, such as would please. 'Tis gone, 'tis gone, 'tis gone. You are welcome, gentlemen. Come, musicians, play. And this is the part where we play like some sort of old-timey version of like old-time rock and roll or something. Take off those oldest records off the shelf. Ye sit and listen to 'em by thyself. I don't know how to do this kind of stuff, so we'll just get back to the text at hand. A-ho, give room, and foot it, girls. More light, you knaves, and turn the tables up, and quench the fire. The room is grown too hot. Ah, sirrah, this unlooked-for sport comes well. Nay, sit, good cousin Capulet, for you and I are past our dancing days. How long is it now since last yourself and I were in a mask? By lady, 30 years. What, man, 'tis not so much, 'tis not much. 'Tis since the nuptial of Lucentio. Come Pentecost as quickly as it will. Some 25 years, and then we masked. 'Tis more. His son is elder, sir. His son is 30. Will you tell me that? His son was but a war 2 years ago. What ladies that which doth enrich the hand of yonder knight? I know not, sir. Oh, she doth teach the torches to burn bright. It seems she hangs upon the cheek of might as a rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear. Beauty too rich for use, for earth too dear. So shows the snowy dove trooping with crowned crows. Yonder lady o'er her fellows shows. The measure done, all watch her place of stand. And, touching hers, make blessed my rude hand. Did my heart love till now? Forswear it, sight, for I ne'er saw true beauty till this night. This, by his voice, should be a Montague. Fetch me my rapier, boy. What? There's the slave come hither, covered with an antic face, to flee and scorn our solemnity? Now, by the stock and honor of my kin, to strike him dead, I hold it not as a sin. Why, how now, kinsman? Wherefore storm you go? Uncle, this is a Montague, a foe, a villain that is hither come in spite to scorn our solemnity this night. Young Romeo, is it? Young Romeo, is it? 'Tis he, that villain Romeo. Content thee, gentles, let him alone. He bears him like a portly gentleman, and, to say truth, Verona brags of him to be a virtuous and well-governed youth. I would not for the wealth of all this town here in my house do him disparagement. Therefore, be patient. Take no note of him. It is my will, the which, if thou respect, show a fair presence and put off these frowns, an ill-beseeming semblance for a feast. It fits when such a villain is a guest. I'll not endure him. He shall be endured. What, goodman boy? I say he shall. Go to. Am I the master here? Or you? Go to. You'll not endure him. God shall mend my soul. You'll make a mutiny among my guests. You will set cock-a-hoop. You'll be the man. My uncle, 'tis a shame. Go to, go to. You are a saucy boy. Is it so indeed? This trick may chance to scathe you. I know that. You must contrary me. Marry, 'tis time. Well said, my hearts. You are princocks. Go, be quiet. Or, more light. More light! For shame. I'll make you quiet. But cheerly, my hearts. Patience perforce with will for choler meeting makes my flesh tremble in their indifferent greeting. I will withdraw. But this intrusion shall, now seeming sweet, convert to bitterest gall. Exits. Romeo, taking Juliet's hand. Such as this. This is a hand. You can do things with it. Okay. If I profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, the gentle sin is this: my lips, two blushing pilgrims, ready stand to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss. Good pilgrim, you do wrong your hand too much, which mannerly devotion shows in this. For saints have hands that pilgrims' hands do touch, and palm to palm is holy palmer's kiss. Have not saints lips, and holy palmers too? Ay, pilgrim, lips that they must use in prayer. Oh then, dear saint, let lips do what hands do. They pray, grant thou, let faith turn to despair. Saints do not move, though grant for prayer's sake. Then move not, or my prayer's effect I take. Oh, thus from my lips, by thine, my sin is purged. Then have my lips the sin they have took. Sin from my lips. Oh, trespass, sweetly urged. Give me my sin again. Your kiss by the book. Madam, your mother craves a word with you. Juliet moved towards her mother. What is her mother? Marry, bachelor! Her mother is lady of the house, and a good lady, a wise and virtuous. I know so dull that you talked withal. I tell you, he that can lay hold of her shall have the jinx. Miss Way. Is she a Capulet? Oh, dear account. My life is my foe's debt. Away! Begone! The sport is at the best. Aye, so I fear. The more is my unrest. Nay, gentlemen, prepare not to be gone. We'll have a trifling, foolish banquet towards. Is it e'en so? Why then, I thank you all. I thank you, honest gentlemen. Good night. More torches here. Come on, then. Let's to bed. Ah, sirrah, by my fay, it waxes late. All to my rest. All but Juliet and the nurse begin to exit. Come hither, nurse. What is yon gentleman? The son and heir of old Tiberio. What's he that now is going out of door? Mary, I think that be young Petruchio. No, sorry. Got to do the voice. Let me start. Come hither, nurse. What is yon gentleman? The son and heir of old Tiberio. What's he that now is going out of door? Mary, that, I think, be young Petruchio. What's he that follows here that would not dance? I know not. Go ask his name. If he be married, my grave is like to be my wedding bed. His name is Romeo, and a Montague, the only son of your great enemy. My only love sprung from my only hate, too early seen, unknown, and known too late. Prodigious birth of love it is to me, that I must love a loathed enemy. What's this? What's this? A rhyme I learned, even now I have one I danced withal. One within calls, Juliet. None. Come, let's away. The strangers, all are gone. And thus endeth Act 1 of Romeo and Juliet. You know what? I'm going to keep going with Act 2. Because, you know what? I can change the titles of these live streams once I'm done with it. So the title will be more accurate, later on. I'm a human being. I can change my mind. However, I will indulge in some liquid. Okay. Here we go. Act 2, and enter chorus. Now old desire doth in his deathbed lie, and young affection gapes to be his heir. That fair for which love groaned for and would die, with tender Juliet matched, is now not fair. Now Romeo is beloved, and loves again, alike bewitched by the charm of looks, when to his foe supposed he must complain, and she still loves sweet bait from fearful hooks. Being held a foe, he may not have access to breathe such vows, and lovers used to swear. And she, as much in love, her means much less, to meet her beloved new anywhere. But passion lends them power, time means to meet, tempering extremities with extreme sweet. Scene 1. Enter Romeo. Can I go forward when my heart is there? Okay, stream a little unstable there, so we'll continue. Can I go forward when my heart is there? Turn back, dull earth, and find thy center out. He withdraws. Enter Benvolio with Mercutio. Romeo! Romeo! Ugh. Romeo, my cousin! Romeo! Romeo! He is wise, and all my life hath stolen him home to bed. He ran this way, and leapt this orchard wall. Call, good Mercutio. Nay, I'll conjure too. Romeo, humours, madman, passion, lover, appear thou in the likeness of a sigh. Speak but one rhyme, and I am satisfied. Cry but I me. Pronounce but love and dove. Speak to my gossip Venus one fair word. One nickname for a purblind son, and ere young Abraham Cupid, he that shot so trim when King Cophetua loved the beggar maid. He heareth not, he stirreth not, he moveth not. The ape is dead, and I must conjure him. I conjure thee by Rosaline's bright eyes, by her high forehead, and a scarlet lip, by her fine foot, straight leg, and quivering thigh, and the dens there adjacent lie, that in thy likeness thou appear to us. And if he hear thee, thou wilt anger him. This cannot anger him. 'Twould anger him to raise a spirit in his mistress' circle of some strange nature, letting it there stand till she had laid it and conjured it down. That were some spite. My invocation is fair and honest. In his mistress' name, I conjure only but up to raise him. Come, he hath hid himself among these trees, to be consorted with the humorous knight. Blind is his love, and best befits the dog. If love be blind, love cannot hit the mark. Now will he sit under a medlar tree and wish his mistress were that kind of fruit, as maids call medlars when they lap alone? Oh, Romeo, that she were! Oh, that she were an open ass, thou puppin pear! Romeo, good night. I'll to my truckle bed. This field bed is too cold for me to sleep. Come, shall we go? Go then, for 'tis in vain to seek him here that means not to be found. Scene 2, and Romeo comes forward. He jests at scars that never felt a wound. But soft, what light through yonder window breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is already sick and pale with grief that thou, her maid, art far more fair than she. Be not her maid, since she is envious. Her vestal livery is but sick and green, and none but fools do wear it. Cast it off! It is my lady! Oh, it is my love! Oh, that she knew she were! She speaks, yet she says nothing. What of that? Her eye discourses. I will answer it. I am too bold. 'Tis not to me, she speaks. Two of the fairest stars in all the heaven, having some business, do entreat her eyes to twinkle in their spheres till they return. What if her eyes were there, in her head? The brightness of her cheek would shame those stars, as daylight doth a lamp. Her eye in heaven would through airy region stream so bright, that birds would sing and think it were not night. See how she leans her cheek upon her hand. Oh, that I were a glove on that hand, that I might touch that cheek. That little bit was my homage to the great thespian Carl Wieser. Anyhow, ay me. She speaks. Oh, speak again, bright angel, for thou art is for thou. I'll try this again. She speaks. Oh, speak again, bright angel, for thou art is. Ugh, bit my tongue. Hate that. Yeah. She speaks. Oh, art as glorious to this night being over my head as is a winged messenger of heaven until the white upturned wandering eyes of mortals that fall back to gaze on lazy puffing clouds and sails upon the bosom of the air. Oh, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name, or, if thou wilt not, be but sworn my love, and no longer be a Capulet. Shall I hear more? Or shall I speak at this? 'Tis but thy name. That is my enemy. Thou art myself, though not a Montague. What's Montague? It is not hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face. Oh, be some other name belonging to a man. What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other word would smell as sweet. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he owes without that title. Romeo, doff thy name, and for thy name, which is no part of thee, take all myself. I take thee at thy word. Call me but love, and I'll be new baptized. Henceforth I will never be Romeo. What man art thou? What man art thou that, thus bescreened in night, so stumblest on my counsel? By a name, I know not how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself, because it is an enemy to thee. Had I it written, I would tear the word. My ears have yet not drunk 100 words of thy tongue's uttering, yet I know the sound. Art thou not Romeo, and a Montague? Neither, fair maid, if either thee dislike. How camest thou hither, and tell me, and wherefore? The orchard walls are high and hard to climb, and the place death, considering who thou art, if any of my kinsmen find thee here. With love's light wings I did o'erperch these walls, for stony limits cannot hold love out, and what love can do, that dares love attempt. Therefore thy kinsmen are no stop to me. If they do see thee, they will murder thee. Alack, there lies more peril in thine eye than 20 of their swords. Look thou but sweet, and I am proof against their enmity. I would not for the word say, I would not for the world say they saw thee here. I have night's cloak to hide me from their eyes, and but thou love me, let them find me here. My life were better ended by their hate than the death prorogued wanting of thy love. By whose direction foundest out this place? By love, that first did prompt me to inquire. He lent me counsel, and I lent him eyes. I am no pilot, yet, wert thou as far as the vast shore, washed with the farthest sea, I should adventure for such merchandise. Thou knowest the mask of night is on my face. Else would a maiden blush paint. Maybe some water would help. Thou knowest the mask of night is on my face. Else would a maiden blush paint my cheek for that which thou hast heard me speak tonight. Fain I would dwell on form, fain deny what I have spoke, but farewell compliment. Thus dost thou love me? I know thou wilt say aye, and I will take thy word. Yet, if thou swearest, thou mayst prove false. At lovers' perjuries, they say, Jove laughs. O gentle Romeo, if thou dost love, pronounce it faithfully, or, if thou thinkest I am too quickly won, I'll frown and be perverse, and say thee nay, so thou wilt too. But else for not the world, in truth, fair Montague, I am too fond, and therefore thou mayst think I may have your light. But trust me, gentlemen, I'll prove more true than those that have more coin to be strange. I should have been more strange, I must confess. But that thou overheardst ere I was ware my true love passion. Therefore, pardon me, and not to impute this yielding to light love, which the dark night hath so discovered. Lady, by yonder blessed moon I vow, that tips with silver all these fruit tree tops. Oh, swear not by the moon, the inconstant moon, that monthly changes in her circled orb, lest that they love prove likewise variable. What shall I swear by? Do not swear at all, or, if thou wilt, swear by thy gracious self, which is the god of my idolatry, and I'll believe thee. If my heart's dear love, well, do not swear. Although in joy in thee, I have no joy of this contract tonight. It is too rash, too unadvised, too sudden, too like the lightning, in which doth cease to be, ere one can say, it lightens. Sweet good night, this bud of love, by summer's ripening breath, may prove a beauteous flower when next we meet. Good night, good night. As sweet repose and rest come to thy heart as that within my breast. Oh, wilt thou leave me so unsatisfied? What satisfaction canst thou have tonight? The exchange of thy love's fateful vow for mine. I gave thee mine before thou didst request it, and yet I were to give again. Wouldst thou withdraw it? For what purpose, love? But to be frank, to give it thee again, and yet I wish but for the thing I have. My bounty is as boundless as the sea. My love is deep. The more I give to thee, the more I have, for both are infinite. There are skulls from within. Ah! I hear some noise within, dear love. Adieu! Anon, good nurse. Sweet Montague, be true. Stay but a little, I will come again. Oh, blessed night! I am afeard being in night. All this is but a dream, too flattering, sweet to be substantial. 3 words, dear Romeo, and good night indeed. If that by then love be honorable, by proposed marriage, send me word tomorrow, by one that I'll procure to come to thee. Where and what time thou wilt perform the rite, and all my fortunes at thy foot I'll lay, and follow thee, my lord, throughout the world. Madam, I come anon. But if thou meanst not well, I do beseech thee, madam, by and by I come, to cease thy strife, and lay me to my grief. Tomorrow I will send. So thrive my soul, 1,000 times good night. 1,000 times the worst to want thy light. Love goes toward love as schoolboys from their books, but love from love towards school with heavy looks. Hist, Romeo, hist! Oh, for falconer's voice to lure this tassel gentle back again. Bondage is hoarse and may not speak aloud, else I would tear the cave where echo lies, and make her airy tongue more hoarse than mine with repetition of my Romeo. It is my soul that calls upon my name. How silver sweet sound lovers' tongues by night, like softest music to its ending, yes. Send thee by the hour of 9. I have forgot why I did call thee back. Let me stand here till thou remember it. I shall forget to have thee still stand there, remembering how I love thy company. Oh, dang it. Didn't know if we was going. I'm just 78. Romeo, my dear, what o'clock tomorrow shall I send to thee? By the hour of 9. I will not fail. 'Tis 20 year till then. I have forgot why I did call thee back. Let me stand here till thou remember it. I shall forget to have thee still stand there, remembering how I love thy company. And I'll still stay to have thee still forget, forgetting any other home but this. 'Tis almost morning. I would have thee gone, and yet no farther than a wanton's bird, that let... Ah! Brain fart. Don't you hate him? Classy. 'Tis almost morning. I would have thee gone, and yet no farther than a wanton's bird, that let it hop a little from his hand, like a poor prisoner in twisted gyves, and with silken thread plucks it back again, so loving jealous of his liberty. I would were thy bird. Sweet, so would I. Yet I should kill thee with much cherishing. Good night, good night. Parting is such sweet sorrow, that I shall say good night till it be morrow. Sleep dwell upon thine eyes, peace in thy breast. Would I were sleep and peace so sweet to rest. Hence will I go to my ghostly friar's close cell, his help to crave, and my dear hap to tell. Scene 3. Enter Friar Lawrence, alone with the basket. The grey-eyed morn smiles on the frowning night, the eastern clouds with streaks of light, and fleckled darkness like a drunkard reels. Ere the sun advances burning eye, the day to cheer and night's dank dew to dry. I must upfill this osier cage of ours with baleful weeds and precious juiced flowers. The earth that nature's mother is her tomb. What is a burying grave? That is her womb. And from her womb children of divers kind, sucking on a natural bosom, find many for many virtues excellent, none but for some, and yet all different. Oh, and mickle is the powerful grace that lies in plants, herbs, stones, and their true qualities. For naught so vile that on the earth doth live, but to the earth some special good doth give. Nor aught so good but, strained from that fair use, revolts from true birth, stumbling on abuse. Virtue itself turns vice, being misapplied, and vice sometime by action dignified. Enter Romeo. Within the infant rind of this weak flower, poison hath residence and medicine power, for this, being smelt, with that part cheers part. Being tasted, stays all senses with the heart. To such supposed kings encamp them still, in man as well as herbs, grace and rude will. And where is the worser, the predominant? For soon the canker death eats up the plant. Good morrow, father. Benedicte, what early tongue so sweet saluteth me? Young son, It argues a distempered head, so soon to bid good morrow to thy bed. Care keeps his watch in every old man's eye, and where care lodges, sleep will never lie. But where unbruised youth with unstuffed brain, sorry about that, doth couch his limbs, their golden sleep doth reign. Therefore thy earliness doth me assure thou art abroused with some distemper, or, if not so, then here I hit it right. Our Romeo have not been in bed tonight. That last is true, the sweeter rest was mine. God pardon sin! Wast thou with Rosaline? With Rosaline, my ghostly father? No, I forgot that name, and that name's woe. That's good, my son, but where hast thou been? I'll tell thee ere thou ask it again. I have been feasting with mine enemy, where on a sudden one hath wounded me, that's by me wounded. Both are remedies within thy help, and holy physic lies. I bear no hate, blessed man, for lo, my intersection likewise, says my foe. Be plain, good son, and homely in thy drift. Riddling confession finds but riddling shrift. Then plainly know my heart's dear love is set on the fair daughter of rich Capulet. As mine on hers, so hers is set on mine, and all combined, save what thou must combine by holy marriage. When and where and how we met, we wooed, and made exchange of vow, I'll tell thee as we pass. But this I pray, that thou consent to marry us today. Holy Saint Francis, what a change is here! Is Rosaline, that thou didst love so dear, so soon forsaken? Young men's love then lies not truly in their hearts, but in their eyes. Jesu Maria, what a deal of brine hath washed thy sallow cheeks for Rosaline! How much salt water hath thrown away in waste to season love, that of it doth not taste. The sun not yet thy sighs from heaven clears, thy old groans yet ringing in mine ancient ears. Lo, here upon thy cheek the stain doth sit, of an old tear that is not washed off yet. If e'er thou wast myself, then these woes thine, thou and these woes were all for Rosaline. And art thou changed? Pronounce the sentence then. Women may fall when there's no strength in men. Thou chidst me oft for loving Rosaline, for doting, not for loving, pupil mine, and badst me bury love, not on a grave to lay one in, another out to have. I pray thee, chide. To quote another Shakespeare play, words. 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 I pray thee, chide me not. Her love, Okay. I pray thee, chide me not. Her I love now, doth grace for grace and love for love allow. The other did not so. Oh, she knew well that thy love did read by rote, that could not spell. But come, young waverer, come, go with me. In one respect I'll thy assistant be, for this alliance may so happy prove to turn your household's rancor to pure love. Oh, let us hence. I stand on sudden haste. Wisely and slow, they stumble that run fast. Scene Folio and Mercutio. Where the devil should this Romeo be? Came he not home tonight? Not to his father's. I spoke with his man. Why, that same pale, hard-hearted wench, that Rosaline, torments him so that he will sure run mad. Tybalt, the kingsman to old Capulet, hath sent a letter to his father's house. A challenge, on my life. Romeo will answer it. Any man that can write may answer a letter. Nay, he will answer the letter's master. How he dares, being dared. Alas, poor Romeo, he is already dead, stabbed with a white wench's black eye, run through the ear with a love song, the very pin of his heart cleft with the blind boy's butt shaft. And is he a man to encounter Tybalt? Why, what is Tybalt? More than a prince of cats. Oh, he's the courageous captain of compliments. He fights you as you sing prick song, keeps time, distance, and proportion. He rests his minim rests, 1, 2, and the third in your bosom, the very butcher of a silk button, a duelist, a gentleman of the very first house of the first and second cause. Ah, the immortal passado, the punto reverso, the hey! The what? The pox of such antic, lisping, affecting phantasmes. These new tuners of accent. By Jesu, a very good blade, a very tall man, a very good whore. Why is this not a lamentable thing, grandsire, that we should be thus afflicted with these strange flies, these fashion-mongers, these podonmies? Why stand so much on the new form that they cannot sit at ease at the old bench? Oh, their bones, their bones! Enter Romeo. Here comes Romeo, here comes Romeo. Without his roe, like a dried herring. Oh, flesh, flesh, how art thou fishified? Now he is for the numbers that Petrarch flowed in. Laura to his lady was a kitchen wench. Mary, she had a better love to bring her. Dido a dowdy, Cleopatra a gypsy, Helen and Hero hidlings and harlots. This be a grey eye or so, but not to the purpose. Signor Romeo, bonjour! There's a French salutation to your French slop. You gave us the counterfeit fairly last night. Good morrow to you both. What counterfeit did I give you? The slip, sir, the slip! Can you not conceive? Pardon, good Mercutio. My business was great, and in such case as mine, a man may strain courtesy. That's as much to say as such a case as yours constrains a man to bow in the arms, meaning to curtsy. Thou hast most kindly hit it, a most courteous exposition. Nay, I'm the very pink of curtsy. Pink for flower. Right. Why, then is my pump well flowered? Oh my. Sure, wit, follow me this just now till thou hast worn out thy pump, and that when the single soul of it is worn, the just may remain after the wearing, solely singular. Oh, single-souled chest, solely singular for the singleness. Come between us, good Benvolio, my wits faints. Switch and spurs, or I'll cry a match. Nay, if our wits run the wild goose chase, I am done, for thou hast more of the wild goose in one of thy wits than, I am sure, I have in my whole 5. Was I with you there for the goose? Thou wast never with me for anything when thou wast not there for the goose. I will bite thee by the ear for that jest. Nay, good goose, bite not. Thy wit is a very bitter sweeting. It is a most sharp sauce. And is it not, then, well served into a sweet goose? Oh, here's a winter chevril that stretches from an inch narrow to an ell broad. I stretch it out for that word, broad, which, added to the goose, provides thee far and wide a broad goose. Why, is this not better now than groaning for love? Now art thou sociable? Now art thou Romeo? Now art thou what thou art by art as well as by nature. For this drivelling love is like a great natural that runs up lolling up and down to hide his bauble in a hole. Stop there, stop there! Thou desirest me to stop my tail against the hair. Thou wouldst else have made thy tail large. Oh, thou art deceived. I would have made it short, for I was come to the whole depth of my tail and meant indeed to occupy the argument no longer. I'm very burpy today. Sorry. Enter nurse and her man. Peter! And to get one in. Here's goodly gear. A sail. Toot, a shot, and a smoke. Peter! Anon. My son, Peter! Good Peter, to hide her face for her fans, the pharaoh face. God, you good morrow, gentlemen. God, you good and fair gentlewoman. Is it gooden? 'Tis no less, I tell you, for the body hand of the dial is now upon the prick of noon. Out upon you! What man are you? One gentlewoman that God hath made himself to mar. By my troth, it is well said, for himself to mar, quoth he. Gentlemen, can any of you tell me where I may find the young Romeo? I can tell you, but young Romeo will be older when you have found him than he was when you sought him. I am the youngest of my name, for a fault of worse. You say well. Yea, is it the worst well? Very well took, I faith wisely. If you be he, so I desire some confidence with you. She will indict him to some supper. Abard, so ho! What hast thou found? No hair, sir. Unless a hair, sir, in a Lenten pie that is something stale, and how it be spent. An old air whore, it is very good meat in land. But half that is whore is too much for hours it be spent. Me out of gauge, you never bother with me, okay. Romeo, will you come to your father's? We'll to dinner together. I will follow you. Farewell, ancient lady. Farewell, lady. Mercutio and Benvolio exit. I pray you, sir, what saucy magic was this that was so full of his ropery? A gentleman, nurse, that loves to hear himself talk and will speak more in a minute than he will to stand to in a month. And he speak anything against me, I'll take him down, and he will lustier than he is. 20 such jacks. And if I cannot, I'll find those that shall. Scurvy knave, I am known to his flat gills. I am none of his stains, mates. And thou must stand by too and suffer every knave to use me at his pleasure. I saw no man use you at his pleasure. If I had, my weapon should quickly have been out. I warrant you, I dare draw as soon another man, if I see occasion and good quarrel, and the law on my side. Now, for God, I am so vexed every part about me quivers, scurvy knave. Pray you, sir, a word. And as I told you, my young lady bid you inquire me you out. What she bid me say, I will keep to myself. But first, let me tell you, if you should lead her in a fool's paradise, as they say, it were a very gross kind of behavior, as they say. For the gentlewoman is young, and therefore, if you shall deal double with her, truly it were an ill thing to be offered to any gentlewoman, and very weak dealing. Nurse, commend me to thy lady and mistress. I protest on thee, good heart, and I faith would tell her as much. Lord, she would be a joyful woman. What wilt thou tell her, nurse? Thou dost not mark me? I would tell her, sir, that you do protest, which, as I take it, is a gentleman-like offer. Bid her devise some means to come shrift this afternoon. And there she shall at Friar Lawrence's cell be shrived and married. Here is for thy pains. She offers, some money. No, truly, sir, not a penny. Go to, I say you shall. This afternoon, sir? Well, she shall be there. And stay, good nurse, behind the abbey wall. Within this hour my man shall be with thee, and bring thee cords made like a tackled stair, which to the high-top gallant of my joy must be my envoy in the secret night. Farewell, be trusty, and I'll quit thy pains. Farewell, commend me to thy mistress. Now God in heaven bless thee. Hark you, sir. What sayest thou, my dear nurse? Is your man secret? Did you ne'er hear say, to making counsel putting one away? Warrant thee, my man's as true as steel. Oh, sir, my mistress is the sweetest lady, lord. Oh, she was but a twat. Lord, when 'twas a little prating thing. Oh, there was a nobleman in town, one Paris, that would fain lay a knife abroad, but she, good soul, had as lief see a toad, a very toad as I see him. I anger her sometimes, and tell her that Paris is the proper man. But I'll warrant you, when I say so, she looks as pale as any clout in the visual word. Doth not Rosemary and Romeo both begin with a letter? Aye, nurse, what of that? Both with an R. Ah, mocker, that's the dog's name. R is for the... No, I know it begins with some other letter, and she hath the prettiest sententious of it. Of you and Rosemary, that it would do you good to hear it. Commend me to my lady. Aye, 1,000 times. Peter, run on, before in a pace. They exit. The scene 5, where I shall ingest more liquid before continuing on with the aforementioned scene 5. Okay. Enter Juliet. The clock struck 9 when I did send a nurse. In half an hour she promised to return. Perchance she cannot meet him. That's not so. Oh, she is lame. Love's heralds should be thoughts, which 10 times faster glides in the sun's beams. Driving back shadows over lowering hills, therefore do nimble pinion doves draw love, and then swift Cupid wings. Now is the sun upon the highmost hill of this day's journey, and from 9 till 12 is 3 long hours, yet she has not come. Had she affections and warm youthful blood, she would be as swift in motion as a bull. My words bandy her to my sweet love, and this to me. But old folks, many feign as they were dead, unwieldy, slow, heavy, and pale as lead. Enter nurse and Peter. Oh God, she comes! Oh, honey nurse, what news? Hast thou met with him? Send thy men away. Peter, stay at the gate! Peter exits. Now, good sweet nurse, O Lord, why lookest thou sad? Though news be sad, yet tell them merrily. If good, thou shamest the music of sweet news by playing to me with so sour a face. I'm weary. Give me leave a while. Fie, how my bones ache! What a jaunt have I! I would thou hadst my bones, and I thy news. Nay, come, I pray thee, speak. Good nurse, speak. Jesu, what haste! Can you not stay a while? Do you not see that I am out of breath? How art thou out of breath, when thou hast breath to say to me that thou art out of breath? The excuse that thou dost make in this delay is longer than the tale thou dost excuse. Is thy news good or bad? Answer to that. Say either, and I'll say the circumstance. Let me be satisfied. Is it good or bad? Well, you have made a simple choice. You know how not to choose a man. You know not how to choose a man. Romeo? No, naughty. Though his face be better than any man's, yet his leg excels all men's. For a hand and a foot and a body, though they be not to be talked on, yet they are past compare. He is not the flower of courtesy, but I warrant him as gentle as a lamb. Go thy ways, wench, serve God. What have you dined at home? No, but all this I did know before. What says he of our marriage? What of that? Lord, how my head aches! What a head have I! It beats as it would fall in 20 pieces. My back on t'other side. Ah, my back! My back! Beshrew your heart for sending me about to catch my death with jaunting up and down. Thy faith, I am sorry that thou art not well. Sweet nurse, tell me, what says my love? Your love says, like an honest gentleman, and a courteous, and a kind, and a handsome, and I want a virtuous. Where's your mother? Where's my mother? Why, she is within. Where should she be? How oddly thou repliest. Your love says, like an honest gentleman. Where is your mother? Oh, God's lady dear, are you so hot? Marry, come up, I trow. Is this the Portulus for my aching bones? Henceforward, do your messages yourself. Here's such a coil. Come, what says Romeo? Have you got to leave to go to shrift today? I have. Then are you hence to Friar Lawrence's cell? There stays a husband to make you a wife. Now comes the wanton blood up in your cheeks. They'll be in scarlet straight at any news. Hie you to church, I must another way. To fetch a ladder by the which you love must climb a bird's nest soon when it is dark. I am the drudge and toil in your delight. But you shall bear the burden soon at night. Go, all to dinner. Hie you to the cell. Hie to high fortune, honest nurse. Farewell. Scene 6. Enter Friar Lawrence and Romeo. So to smile the heavens upon this holy act that after hours with sorrow chide us not. Amen. But come what sorrow can, it cannot countervail the exchange of joy that one short minute gives me in her sight. Do thou but close our hands with holy words, then love-devouring death do what he dare. It is enough. I may but call her mine. These violent delights have violent ends, and in their triumph die, like fire and powder, which, as they kiss, consume the sweetest honey, is loathsome in its own deliciousness, and in the taste confounds the appetite. Therefore, love moderately. Long lost doth so, too swift arrives as tardy as too slow. Here comes the lady. Oh, so light of foot, will ne'er wear out the everlasting flint. Love may bestride the gossamers that idle in the wanton summer air, and yet not fall, so light is vanity. Good even to my ghostly water. Water so I can mind. We're nearly there. Good evening to my ghostly confessor. Romeo shall thank thee, daughter, for us both. As much to him, else is his thanks too much. Juliet, if the measure of thy joy be heaped like mine, and that thy skill be more to blazon it, then sweeten with thy breath this neighbor air, and let rich music's tongue unfold the imagined happiness that both receive in either by this dear encounter. More rich in matter than in words, brags of his substance, not of ornament. They are but beggars that can count their worth. But my true love is grown to such excess, I cannot sum up half of my wealth. Come with me, and we will make short work. For by your leaves you shall not stay alone till Holy Church incorporate two in one. And thus endeth Romeo and Juliet, Act 2. And it is where I shall stop, because in my time zone, it's 12:34. So, anyways, thank you all for joining me, and I will see you again when I cover Romeo and Juliet, Acts 3, 4, and possibly 5. We'll see what happens, I guess. Alrighty. Until then, stay safe, take care, and all the world's a stage. And we are merely players, performers, and portrayers, each another's audience inside that gilded cage. Living in the limelight, that universal dream for those that wish to be. Those that wish to be must put aside the alienation, get on with the fascination, the real relation, the undenying scream. Peace.